Here's a review of the 2018 Infiniti QX80. It's going to take a patrol to stop this one, possibly even an armada, maybe even 56 of them. Hopefully you guys got all those references. I'll see you on the other side and let's get into it. Overall, the QX80 for 2018 is very similar to all the previous ones, for at least for the past 10 years or so. We have full LED turn signals and headlights now. The front bumper is a little bit different. The grille is a little bit different. The hood is different. So we got some different things definitely on the front end. We have 20-inch wheels on here, which I think make for a very, very comfortable ride on the vehicle. I still think that it's overall an attractive looking full-size luxury SUV. There's just not a whole lot of competition out there. Yes, you have the LX, you have the Cadillac Escalade, the Yukons, and of course you have the Armada and the Land Cruiser as well, but the rear taillights look good, and then you have those rear blinkers there on the bumper, which is new for 2018. On the inside of the QX80, this 2018 edition, everything seems familiar, but it definitely seems familiar in the bad kind of way. Everything looks exactly the same in this vehicle for a long time now, and just the overall design is a little bit dated. The wood trim still looks good, although it looks good in like a 2008 kind of way. There is quite a bit of leather here on the dash, on the dome. It's just high quality materials. Now on the dome it's more of a molded plastic with stitching on it, but it looks really good. You have that hard touch plastic over here above the glove box. The shifter is really good quality. I like the shift boot, the stitching around it. You have lots of knobs here for your entertainment, which is fine with me, and you have knobs for your climate control as well. Nice little heated seat switches down here at the bottom, a 12 volt down there as well as a couple USBs, which is always welcome. The door materials are excellent. They just look a little, like I said, a little outdated. It's very soft, very plush. The window switches have a little hint of chrome on the edge, which makes it feel pretty premium. The handle feels very sturdy, even though the handle feels a little small in some ways. It's hard. I have small hands too. I hate to say it, but I do. And it's hard for me to get like a comfortable grip on this door handle, even though it feels real sturdy. Heated steering wheel by my left knee, as well as some of you have a tilt there for your headlights. You have your hatch button. The gauge cluster here it looks okay. It looks exact same as the 2016 I reviewed a couple of months back, but it definitely looks like it needs an overhaul here. A welcome fully electronic with a couple of gauges would be ideal. At least make it feel a little bit more modern. The steering wheel is really good, and the heated portion is doing its job right now. Stitching is actually really impressive. I'm really hard on cars for stitching on their steering wheel, and there's quite it starts like big and then it gets real tight on the edges of the stitching, which is a nice little detail that most people aren't going to notice, but that's kind of one of my things. But the steering wheel, I'm really hard on steering wheels in terms of their overall design and premium feel, and this feels really good. Even though the rest of the car feels a little dated, this wheel was probably a little bit ahead of its time. So we have a touchscreen here, which it's kind of slow. It looks like it's from the mid to late 2000s. It's definitely a little outdated, but I know it's been updated. It just looks outdated. It's been updated fairly recently. You know, I see the shopping center on there across the street. The street names come up on there okay. So it's an okay navigation, but you know, these things are definitely left in the dust by modern, you know, Google Maps or Apple CarPlay, as well as Android Auto, which this car is not going to have. Lots of buttons. You have the nice clock here, which is very welcome in luxury vehicles. And then down below, like I said, on the shifter, we have a knob here that has a snow mode, traction control, as well as a tow mode. And then you have a dial here that will put it in 4 high or 4 low. But it's nice that there's an auto mode. And then we have a little storage compartment here, and then a couple cup holders with another additional storage compartment there. The seats, they're huge, they're comfortable, they don't really hug you in any way, you just kind of sit on top of them.
as any other seat, but they're very soft, even the back ends, which I would like a little bit more firmness on the edges of the seats and the back side of the seat, but they're just very, very soft all the way around. And it makes me wonder, with it being so soft, how's it going to hold up over time? These back seats are very comfortable. They do recline, which is a nice welcome addition. Now this back seat here comes standard with the bench, which is really unfortunate because these back seats, which I'll show you in a little bit, they are okay. They're just okay for that third row. When you do have them up, you don't have a whole lot of extra storage space. So it'd be nice with how wide these seats are. I mean, this back row is huge, but you have this huge hump right here that takes up a lot of the room. So you do have to pay a premium. I think it's like $2,000 to $3,000 just to get that bench seat. But inside here, it's just a big old empty space. We do have this nice wood finish here with a couple cup holders inside of that. Very soft, and then pushing the seat, you can see it moving around, and I'm barely touching it. It's very flimsy, and that does not feel luxury to me. But the back side is covered with, good leather. The flimsiness of it and the overall just super soft. It doesn't feel like it has any structure to the seats, which is not the biggest attractor in my opinion for this vehicle. We do have some more wood trim here, nice little speaker above and below. The handles are the exact same as they are in front, sturdy yet a little strangely designed for normal people's hands, but nice overall quality on the doors overall. And we have these nice vents right above here for the passengers. Down here we have full climate control as well as USBs, which is definitely a welcome addition in this 2018. And then way below here, I just saw that there's a 12 volt as well that's kind of tucked away, but those USBs are definitely a welcome addition in this 2018. Leg space is more than adequate. It's tons of leg space. And then, if you're on like a road trip with family, you can definitely put your leg up here on the center console, and it's just a big pillow. It's like a built-in ottoman, so that is kind of neat and very, very comfortable for the rear passengers. This function right here I remember quite well from the previous QX80 that I reviewed. You pull this and then a rocket ships forward. It's just very aggressive. And then getting back here, these seats are folded down. You have a switch right here on the cup holder, and you'll see how long it takes to go up. That's what she said, but it takes a while. Now the seats back here are pretty big. They are comfortable just like the rest of the car, and then you can see how unfortunate that is. The seats have those imprints from the seat buckle, attachments. But let's get in the back. Getting in the back here, it's actually not that hard, and I can close the door pretty easily. Let's shove this down, fold this up, and I have quite a bit of space back here. We have a couple cup holders. If I need to get out, I pull this lever here and it'll rocket ship forward. No connectivity back here, which is kind of unfortunate. We got those USBs right there for the second row, but this third row doesn't have a whole lot. Now, I'm going to fold this third row up. We'll fast forward this. And the seating back here is it's very reminiscent of the LX 570, and these fly up all the way to the back. And if I remember right, these remind me of the droid heads from Star Wars Episode 1. I'll put a picture of that. But these seats are comfortable, and they have a nice recline feature to them. You just kind of lounge about. We have some speakers as well as, there's your speaker, but you have a light here just in case for the backside cargo area. But as you can see here, here's my knees. They are coming in contact with the seat in front of me. You can put adults back here. You can see how much space there is, and this fits 3 in the back. So this could have the potential to fit 8 people, but this comes standard, so you got to pay extra for that bench seat up there, which is kind of unfortunate. I could watch this all day long. 3, 2, 1, blast off. And this flimsy seat in front of us, like I showed earlier, it's just not very premium feeling. Do you hear that? That's super, super loud. Holy cow. And I'm just backing up, but the front sensors are going nuts. But the 360 camera in here is pretty good. I do like it quite a bit. Backing this thing up, it's a boat. That is for sure. But that 360 camera is definitely a welcome addition to this tank. Oh my gosh, the steering is very, very lifeless at low speeds, and you have to crank her quite hard to get this Barge moving. Definitely not as strong or tight feeling compared to the LX, but you know what does feel great in compared to the LX is this 5.6 liter V8 with a 7-speed gearbox. That is the strong point of this vehicle. This vehicle can tow a whole lot, and this motor is very strong, lots of torque, and the 7-speed gearbox is definitely a match made in heaven to this motor. I feel like I'm sitting up very high, even higher than the LX, which that vehicle feels pretty high, and maybe a part of it is because the hood, I don't see as much hood as you do in the LX. Getting on the brakes there, they're a little bit mushy, required a little bit more pressing down than I want to get this car stopped in the manner that I expect it to. But yeah, this vehicle is all about the V8, this 5.6 liter, and I'm probably going to say that over and over. This thing can go 0 to 60 in just like 6.3 seconds, which is ridiculous for a 6,000 pound vehicle. The LX is fast as well, but this vehicle doesn't feel quite as heavy or tanky. It just feels bigger. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm gonna do a quick acceleration run here on the freeway. 3, 2, 1, and punch. And there's 60. And it didn't even need a downshift. This has so much torque that the 7-speed gearbox is like, nah, we're good. We don't need a downshift. We'll just ride this gear. And it did it with no problem. No problem. The engine note isn't the greatest. I definitely like the sounds of the Lexus motor or the LX 570's 3UR motor, but this was very quick, very responsive. The transmission's a gem, which we'll test out more in a bit. Out here on the freeway, I feel like I'm just floating around, which is a really good thing. I just realized you can see the droid head back there staring at us. Maybe I'll try to transpose a droid face on there for the remainder of this test drive. It's very quiet. I don't remember the QX being this quiet, and we have really high winds today, as you guys probably already saw. But this thing, if you're going to be taking, this would be an awesome road trip vehicle. So is the LX, but you can get this vehicle for a lot cheaper than an LX, especially on the used market. Let's just do a little dig while the speed limit went up. But let's, oh, there's another QX80 right there. Is the Stay Puft Marshmallow Edition, the really, really big fluffy white one. But we're just gonna do a quick dig here. I'm going about 55, I'm gonna punch. It took a bit, hesitated a little bit, but I'm not gonna knock it for that. It took a good second for it to find the gear. In a smaller vehicle, I would definitely be harsher on it because you expect a smaller vehicle to respond a little bit quicker to you. I'm just going to punch that again. It takes a bit, but I don't have an issue with it. It's definitely adequate for this vehicle. But man, I'm really enjoying the ride in here. I feel like I'm super high up. Visibility is good. Big windows all around. The mirrors are a little stubby. They're really tall, but narrow. I definitely appreciate the Lexus mirrors a little bit better. They feel more substantial and they go out a little bit wider, which could be an issue if you're towing, but you can always get an extensions for your mirrors if you're going to be towing serious things. Speaking of towing, this is going to tow like 9,000 pounds, which is more than the LX's 7,000, so it's definitely a consideration if you plan on towing with these big luxury SUVs. Out here on the freeway, these seats are comfortable. I would like them to be a little bit more supportive on my sides. I really feel like I'm sitting, the bottom of the seat is very squishy, which is good for comfortability. I could take a long road trip in this, but the backside feels a little firm for my liking, even though the backside of the seat, when you just touch it, it's very squishy and soft, which is strange for such a high-priced luxury vehicle. The only thing I can hear in this vehicle is one of the seats back there is just shaking and rattling just a tiny bit. But other than that, and this might be bothering you guys, other than that, this vehicle is just super, super quiet. I'm very impressed overall. And I just love this heated steering wheel. Heats up like an absolute gem. The heated seat warms up very well. So it's a very great luxury cold climate vehicle, and this is going to be amazing off-road. Not quite as capable as the LX, which is based off the Toyota Land Cruiser, but for the 99.99% of people who are going to go off-roading in these vehicles, this is going to be more than adequate. No blind spot monitors on this particular vehicle, which is unfortunate to see such a big luxury vehicle not come with such a feature, but it's something I could live without, especially if I was picking this up used. But if I was buying it new, brake pedal, ooh, oh my gosh, it requires a lot of stomping and a lot of progression to get this big Barge to a stop. It definitely feels less bitey than the LX 570. Let's just do a quick acceleration up this hill. Oh yeah, power's adequate, and if not, you know, more than enough for the size of the vehicle, even from a stoplight. Yeah, you're only gonna, if you're gonna be stomping it, you'll be like getting 10 miles an hour or 10 miles per gallon, but that is perfectly okay. We're gonna test the handling a little bit in this thing. Now, all of them come standard with some sort of hydraulic system. I'll put the name of it in here. All right, let's see how this thing does in the corners here. I feel like I'm 900 feet above sea level in it. Oh yeah, I don't want to push it. Does not want to be pushed. Unlike the LX 570 that has a Sport Plus mode and the suspension dips down, makes the vehicle shorter. That dog was peeing on the tree. This definitely is not as well handling. Now, this doesn't have the 22-inch wheels, which might help with that. This has the 20-inch wheels that, we got some police out here at the lake today. This has some 20-inch wheels that don't look as visually appealing, but man, it makes the ride so plush. I would be very tempted to get this QX80 with these 20-inch wheels, even though they're not as, you know, ritzy or as glamorous looking, but it definitely looks the part, and it feels great here on the roads with the extra tire. I'm going to summarize it inside the vehicle because the wind chill is probably close to 0 right now. This guy in this Ram just got off his auger, his drilling equipment. Hopefully you guys can see that, because he's going to go ice fishing, which seems to be quite the popular endeavor here in the Midwest. But overall, back to this QX80, this thing is a luxury tank, a barge, whatever you want to call it. It's a real hard sell over the LX 570 if you spec it up to close to LX 570 pricing. If you're within 10 grand to the LX 570, get that vehicle. If you want to, you can get more of a base model on this for about 75 grand probably. That would be definitely worth it. I don't think this vehicle is worth it once you start optioning it out to around 100,000. The LX, just everything in the LX is just a notch above. Other than the quiet ride on the highway, I really appreciated that in this vehicle. But I don't think you can go wrong with this, especially in the used market. This is a year old. Where's that price tag? This is a 2018 model with 17,000 miles, and it's priced at right around 51,000. So that is a steal in my opinion for how much vehicle you're getting. Just know that you guys are going to have to pay extra to get that bench seat back there, which is kind of disappointing. It takes away from the versatility of the vehicle. No one really needs those huge captain's chairs, unless you really don't have any grandchildren or children to port around. But that's kind of the purpose of this vehicle, at least in America, is to move a lot of people in a nice luxury SUV fashion. But I'll see you guys in the comments below. What would you pick, QX80 or LX 570? Of course, I would roll with the LX 570 if money wasn't an issue. But if you're at a budget, if you have a specific budget that you need to meet, this is definitely going to meet almost all of your needs, if not all of them. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button. Peace.